at the foot of every nation in the country, in the world. It's called genocide by ecocide. Write that down. Genocide by ecocide.
Yes.
Genocide by ecocide.
Chemtrails.
And I'm
No.
so sorry.
Just listen.
Ecocide is death by non-military means. It's called soft kill.
Soft kill, that's what it's called.
That's why it's called
It takes
silent
75
weapons
years.
for quiet wars. That's what
Right.
Executive Order 1149
And what
is.
happens, because of me being a target, it killed, 3 people have passed that were so close to me. Within the 16, my son died in July. My other friend, who's an officer, he just died like 28th of December. And a friend of, it's like they just killing everybody who knew I was not crazy, that was close to me, real close. They just like killed them all.
Genocide by ecocide, ECO.
Go ahead and finish, Mark.
The Genocide by Ecocide document covers a wide range of actual ongoing events and tactics to reduce the population on mass scales by non-military means. There are people in this room that are old enough to remember when a plane flew across the sky, its trail disappeared quite rapidly behind it. That's not what's going on now, y'all. And ain't nobody asking why.
That's the problem.
All right, it's called geoengineering. They've been doing it full effect for about 35 years, trying to keep the radiation off the planet, to keep the temperature down, and trying to adversely affect the life forms upon the planet. The evidence of their success is the loss of the bees,
Yes.
which will eliminate Western agriculture.
And the food supply.
Fracking, which will eliminate underground fresh water supplies, and are walking around not talking about it, fighting about it, fussing about it.
Yes.
There's going to be the 31st of January in University of Pennsylvania. There's an MLK event that will be specifically dealing with the aspects of genocide by ecocide. If you don't start, you can't address what you're not aware of. He's got a book over there that demonstrated to me the magnitude of my incompetency, because I'm a functional illiterate. And I didn't know I was a functional illiterate until about a year ago. You couldn't have convinced me I wasn't the smartest thing walking around. But I'm a functional illiterate. Yeah, that 1828 you guys see over there. That 1828 gave me the glimpse to me to comprehend the magnitude of my incompetency. Because everything I ever thought I knew was taught to me to make me be something for somebody else.
That's right.
Right.
And to disallow me the conscious thought of realizing self.
You're talking about 1828 dictionary, American Heritage. And by the way, Taj, don't throw away the books, because when you go online and look up the words, even when you reference the books, the meanings change.
Why? Why?
I'm just saying that they're trying to hide it. I know we lean on the internet, no disrespect, because I do too, but you gotta trust and verify everything. Because it's a ton of misinformation out there that sent us down the wrong path.
The new Iron Curtain.
Yes, it is.
Misinformation, disinformation, and no information.
Yeah.
The Iron Curtain was an over 2,000 system of transmitters that blocked out armed forces radio network from reaching into Eastern Europe.
There you go.
It existed for 35 years. They turned it off for about 10 days before everybody went down there to see what's going on at that wall. And the guards at the wall was all standing there saying, we don't care about that wall, we ain't shooting nobody today. We want to go see what's going on over there too. Because for the first time in 35 years, they saw what the rest of the world was doing. They had not seen what the rest of the world was doing for 35 years.
Wow.
So once they turned off that Iron Curtain, and Western radio and television was streaming into Eastern Europe, the people started walking across the borders. And the guards weren't shooting them.
That's right.
So it started at different locations that actually started up north at the Fulda Gap and shred down to where Munich is at and where Berlin is for that wall to come down. But it was the people that took the wall down because the guards became the people.
Right.
They were working, shooting you a little while ago because they thought what they were doing made sense. Once that curtain came down, the veil was removed and their eyes got open to what the rest of the world was doing. Shooting you for wanting to go over there didn't seem to make that much sense anymore, and they simply stopped doing it because they wanted to go to.
Now, how do you think that's going to apply now when the veils are coming off?
Because the truth of the matter is, they're not just stealing the estate of the originals,
Right.
they're stealing everybody's estate.
So everybody's feeling it now.
Everybody that went to work and got a 401k is going to get wiped out. Don't make no difference your complexion.
Right.
Greedy bastards don't care about your color.
That's right.
They care about the green.
And this is the whole deal. The unum sanctum policy that was declared after the Red House fell, which is the Alhambra, and the Romanus Pontifex and Inter Terra Divina is the basis of all modern world politics on Earth planet, on Gaia, is now, this is where the so-called middle-class Europeans who were given what you call the overseer jobs to keep us in check are now being sacrificed.
Yep.
That's why they're starting to tell the truth. However, they're trying to kill us off, and now they're trying to kill them too. And so this is where they're having problems and starting to have to go underground. So some of these earthquakes is that they're really putting what you call low grade nukes in those cities, those military cities underground. They just finished, they've been attacking Denver now. Georgia, Alabama, Puerto Rico, now Denver, now they're trying to go to New Zealand and they're cutting them off. And they're going to Antarctica. That's going on right now as we speak.
Taj, the question is, who's they?
They is called the White Dragon Society, is a loose name given to ancient Manchurian assassins and Masons. Some of the P2 Masons of the Vatican behind the Pope, although they have some that's still on the Cabal side. And you've got some of the generals who have been dismissed since the Clinton administration and the Bush administration and the Obama administration that are now operating, trying to restore the republic. And you have a lot of Europeans that's been trying to restore the republic. And so you have actually soldiers of different nation states that are actually at North America now. Collectively, they're referred to as the White Dragon Society and sometimes called the White Hats. That's what's going on right now. And that's the Civil War that's going on.
And they're fighting against the Jesuit.
They're fighting against Khazarians and the Kabbalists. In other words, you have people who are now fighting to restore the republic that was originally set up by the Moors and the deists here, versus the Kabbalists who have been in power since 1861, which is the operatives and owners and beneficiaries and franchisees of the U.S. democracy order. That's the states of operators distinguished from the state republics. In other words, what you see is Europeans who were once beneficiaries of the U.S. democracy now going back to try to enforce the Constitution and the treaties, including the Pope. And this is what's going on. That's the White Dragon Society. Those active and those who are what you call militarily active. Then you have those who are what you call non-military, informational, etc., organizational. So we would be considered white hats.
Taj, for the class, and just for a little ounce more clarity, the benefit for the Pope to do this. I mean, before the veil was removed, the Pope was living like a fat cat.
Yeah.
So why?
He's still under charges. He's still got to face charges in raw court.
obligation,
You
spiritual.
think they're gonna be?
No, not that whether they're going to do it or not is not the
It's
issue.
irrelevant, yeah.
This is the issue, that the old guard has no more credibility. Any kind of way you look at it, they gotta come down.
Right.
Anyone's holding on to their apron strings gotta come down.
Right.
It is more of interest, what are you gonna do? What are we going to do? When are we gonna become active and stop looking for someone else to do the program for us?
Are you gonna be able to feed yourself in the grocery
The
store?
greatest thing that we can
You better learn
do
the
is
barter
teach
system.
somebody who doesn't know.
Right.
See, because this is the deal. Keep in mind, you gotta understand, what is the operations of the dark priesthood? What is the secret to the power of the dark priesthood?
Your ignorance.
They've been getting away with propagating dogma as religion.
Yes.
So the masses who have never been given religion, who think they've been given religion, are going to learn the anthropomorphic truth and the Gnostic truth of the books. One, they're going to learn the truth of the original organic constitution. They're going to learn of the United States Corporation Company that was registered in France that Lincoln bankrupted, which I'm exposing to you. They're going to see the shell corporations that were set up, the counter moves made against Noble Drew Ali. Now you understand the real motive of Noble Drew Ali when you understand the history, why he set up the old Canaanite temple. You understand the real role of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which is the institution, or what you would call the Regency, to help the restoration of your lost estate. So you're going to have to support the Moorish Science temples in your area, but they're going to have to be cleaned up. Nevertheless, don't let people corrupt them, continue to corrupt them, so that the people who are getting conscious don't have a place to go. Meanwhile, the European is trying to kill people off in order to protect himself. In doing so, he exposes himself at the same time. His lies are exposed. Meanwhile, the people are going to recognize all the reverends, the imams, and all of these people that you thought was loving Jesus, God, and Allah were really Skull and Bones members getting a 501c3 kickback agreement from Lyndon Baines Johnson to keep this Negro, black, and colored and belief system going on. So the masses have not been given jurisprudence, they've been given color of law under a color of authority. Now they're learning the distinction. They've been given fiat instead of money. Now they're learning the dogma instead of religion. Fiat instead of money, color of law instead of jurisprudence. And as this is explained, your mental energy changes because you lose faith in the trust. And when you lose faith in the trust, the dragon dies because he lives on blind faith. But your belief in him is what empowers him. It's an abstract. He's a bloodsucker. You understand what I'm saying? He is absolutely a vampire. Now, and so he stands behind a pulpit.
Yes.
You thought it was the rostrum of the Lord. But his power is because you believe in him. When you stop believing in him and his doctrine, the fiat dies. And when the fiat dies, he can't sell it to others who buy it in trust. Because it has no value. It never did. It was only bookkeeping on your estate that you didn't know you had. So now it's all coming apart. You understand? Meaning that your change of mind is really what kills the dragon. It's spiritual.
It's like a frequency. The more
It's the frequency. You change the frequency. They got to get you looking outside, looking for someone else to do it. It is your rebirth in the change of mind that slays the dragon.
And I know we gotta be positive, Taj, and I'm the change of mind.
In other words, like this.
Claiming
It's
our
like
state,
this.
Taj.
You know what this is? This is what this is. Everybody, and think about this honestly.
Okay.
Everybody think about this when you go home. You know what everybody's being pressured to do now, and it's really uncomfortable? Everybody now, and it's no joke anymore, are now realistically put under the pressure of proving their God.
it's true.
Which is exactly
It's happening fast.
No, hold on. Listen.
Come on.
Everybody
Yes, sir.
is now under the real, indisputable pressure of having to prove their God.
And they're not enough.
And they ain't been working either.
But if it's the
Now,
God
no,
you
no, listen. So now they're being forced to purge, whether they like it or not, and figure out where they are in this. Do you understand? Because what has become very clear, even though they've been in denial, that Rome has been their God. They don't buy or sell without the mark or the number of his name. But they've been denying it. They won't breathe without a license from him.
That's right.
They won't move without a permit from him while saying they love Jesus and God and Allah. They don't fear nobody but Jesus. I just love the Lord. I got a personal relationship, personal cell phone and everything. Lying their ass off. Now they're going to prove it. Because Rome is coming for their heinies. He done took one head and it wasn't Jenny Craig. They come for the other cheek now. And they realize it. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't got no hips no more or nothing. They ain't no they straight.
Just in the name of information sharing, I heard the sister say something about solid state water. For over 27 years, I worked in independent testing laboratory. And I agree with Taj before with everything. But before they make products available to the public, the government already has the technology at least 30 years in
Oh, yeah,
advance.
they patent it way, yeah, sure.
So the solid state water.
And that's a conservative statement.
It is. The solid state water meters that they want you to put on your houses are the key, but everybody don't do.
The what they want?
What's
that? Yeah.
Well, I seen there's a slow watt meter that's on the house that turns slow. It's
Yeah.
called electromechanical.
Right.
There's a solid state watt hour meter that's phenomenal. I know because I tested. And the meters tell you how much
Right.
electricity you use.
Right.
But it tells you in a way where it captures everything.
That's
The
right.
surges and all the
yeah,
energy.
the spikes.
It spikes. So the
Yeah.
bill, and Taj, you can talk about the bill.
But they
It's
also,
gonna be
your appliance actually
overwhelming.
talks to each other.
And they have the ability, now you said that, I'm from Baltimore. There used to be something called the gas man, I don't know how to do
Right,
it.
right.
Gas man, you come
I used to
they don't
do
need any of that.
I used to
no
do
more.
meters.
They
Yeah,
can
I
turn
can
on,
take it off.
they don't
I
have to
walk
come
around
by, they have to come out of the house.
Flip the switch.
They can put the switch
Cut it off.
from 500 miles away. I mean, it's overwhelming. So if you have the option,
So we could take it off the house? Of the
and
domicile?
put,
I mean?
and ask for the electromechanical. The
Opt out.
electromechanical is not as
Detrimental.
as accurate, I'll say.
Deliberately.
Right, but that's the best way you want to be, because when they're pushing those the other watt hour meters,
Smart
the
meters.
smart meters, they're pushing those smart meters because all of the electricity and energy that they lost from grabbing, those little meters are gonna grab. So my noble recommendation would be
Now.
stay with the old school.
Well,
I got a lot of love for you for that, but you know what they're doing? They're sending you a notice that you're blocking them from their equipment if you don't install that smart meter.
Yeah,
They
and
gonna
then they cut the
disconnect
wires.
you.
Then they cut the
And
wires.
they're not giving you no conversation options about it, because I kept them from changing my meter for over 2 years. And then they just sent me a notice, you're coming out to turn off and disconnect everything.
They cut the
I'm
locks to
gonna
the
find out
gate.
why.
They cut the locks to the gate.
that has
It's
happened
saying
to a
that
lot
I'm denying them access to their equipment because they want electronic access. I'll try the electromagnetic.
There's a
I
way
heard
around
you.
that.
Now here's what I want to tell you to do.
Go ahead.
I want to tell you like you told me,
Homeowners.
break out your notepad. All the electromechanical meters have to meet the ANSI 12.9, 12.1, 12.25 requirement. The ANSI requirement is a test that should be done by independent testing lab to validate the accuracy of the meter in your house. You have to ask for that information because you are fearful that the meter, number one, will emit a magnetic field that will be harmful to you.
That's right. That's what's happening
And
to
you
me.
are fearful, you are not 100% sure of the accuracy of the reading, that you will be overcharged or undercharged. And that's your angle that you want to put in writing like Taj teaches.
But there's a form for that, okay?
Now, this, I'll share this with you, this is,
So there's a form for him to actually opt out.
Where'd you search up there?
And with the smart meters, they put smart meters in our development in 2012, and that's when I started having a lot of my problems, and I started writing to the executives, and that's when they started tagging me because I was complaining about the smart meters, what they were doing, the effect to my house, and it's like a transducer type of effect where it's cracking the walls and everything like that.
Before we leave, I'll sit down on these, and I want to dominate that. But Tyler, what's the search for this one?
this is, George Washington, Secret of the Cherry Tree, More TV. Now, I did a snippet of this, and I'm playing this girl's father in this movie. And this will be coming out.
Oh, I know an actor.
Yeah, and this is, and they're going to be exposing a lot of history in this movie too.
And it's coming on what TV channel?
This will be coming out, you probably on Netflix or something like that. Maybe, yeah.
Hi, I'm Bill Dodson. On behalf of I'd like to welcome you to the behind-the-scenes look of George Washington and the secret of the cherry tree.
Probably made a
I was in the studio in Texas when they was filming this,
That's my
trailer.
guy right there. Is this what's the name of this?
Now she plays my daughter. Now Cindy, the archer who trained her, she's a real archer. And now the way the movie sets up is that I have to leave her when she's young because they got a dossier on me to protect her. And the trainer trains her from a little girl. But later on she'll find out that the trainer is really my sister.
Rue is important to the future because her mission in the film is to help get the people that are in the FEMA camp who have been considered safe. She is doing her best to find out how to get them back into their nationality and pass it back.
It's the real Mockingjay though. It's like the real Mockingjay.
Yes,
Say it again?
It's like the real Mockingjay.
You did.
The real one.
You know all this about that. Okay, all right. So let me ask you this: what was it like preparing for the role of Rue?
it was kind of stressful because she's somewhat the opposite of who I am as a person. I'm very soft-spoken, nice, fun type of person. She's more serious, more fierce, and more brave. Really
so hardcore? As you said.
I think her father knew that the people would need it in the future based off of the way that the nation was moving.
So he was somewhat grooming.
Right. He was grooming her to prepare for the future so that she would be able to handle all the things that's thrown at her.
Okay. Talk to us about the freedom fighters. You guys, really close as you guys work on that everything.
Yeah, I mean, we worked hard. We worked really hard together the past few months. So we've all grown really close to it.
That's pretty awesome. What are some things that you can tell us about the future that's really awesome? Like, do people still call themselves homeless?
They have their own little way of getting around the blocks that the government has put on technology and things like that. As freedom fighters, they use Nexus, one of the technologies that the hackers use with computers in order to communicate around with all the other freedom fighters around the world. That's what they're doing.
Kind of off the grid?
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay. All right, so in closing, what are some things that you want to share with people that inspire them to go out and watch the movie? Is this a movie that you yourself would go see?
Yes, definitely. I would definitely go see the movie. I think it's a great thriller. It's very informative, but it's also really interesting and something to watch with the family.
All right, you guys are behind the scenes right now. Day 3. Okay, I got to watch for us one more time from this side. I'm ready to try to call in and fly.
It's filming in different parts of Texas. This is one of the studios. They would shoot in different studios. We go into different
One of the great things about the film that
shot
people
different scenes.
are be excited about is that not just the time and energy that it took to make the film, but the trueness and staying original to the true script. When we originally had sent the script to one of my fans in Hollywood, the director, I mentioned, hey, honest feedback. And he sent it back and said the script was amazing, but it lacked a love story and creating a love story. And I thought about that for a few weeks. We wanted to really Hollywood movie up and create a love scene, and then it dawned on me from hearing the Bible says, so if you look at the film in true essence, it is a love scene. And the love scene is symbolic between Ruth and her love for information. And ultimately, that gives rise to the story altogether. So the story takes place in the future, okay? And in this future, something has caused people to become stateless. And so Ruth is going on this journey, this adventure to try to figure out what has happened to her people. And this starts the dialogue between Ruth and her mission during the film. So that's one of the great things that I feel that we brought out about the film that we were able to really just kind of expand upon. And it gives people some insight. But one of the things that we wanted to do that was different from all the other documentaries out there with the colors and all the other films is we wanted to have a story. We wanted to give people the information, but convey it in a sense to where this is something that the whole family can sit and watch and enjoy. So most people, when we showed the film, pieces of the film to people, they were just so blown away. They were just like, film was not what I expected it to be, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to shock people and give them different elements of different things. So the movie takes place in the future. There's action. There's a bit of sci-fi in there. There's different pieces of that in there. And watching it, we totally forgot.
He had his coat on.
Wow, even though this is a great movie, there's so much information that's being put out. It's a documentary, so that's kind of where
Is Paul still out there?
stems from.
Yeah, he's outside across the street. He's standing across the
Can
street.
you call
First things people must understand about
Yeah, can you call for me,
cherry
please?
tree is that it doesn't have anything to do with the physical cherry tree itself. In fact, the cherry tree is a representation of George Washington the great Masonic secret. Western Freemasonry should never be confused with Masonry, as Masonry is an ancient science, tracing back to Amexem or Kemet, known today as Africa. One of the most accurate quotes outlining the nature of Western Freemasonry came from the 6th President of the United States of America, Mr. John Quincy Adams. He stated, and I quote, "Freemasonry is deceptive and fraudulent. It promised a light. Its performance is darkness," end quote. Americans and individuals all over the world are bound to learn the truth. Each of the founding fathers were Masons who were brought into government and given access to private information known as the light in Masonry. The problem with the story of the cherry tree is the myth attached to it by the very people who created the story. Now, it is unproven whether or not Mason locked weeds, also known as Persian weeds, was a Freemason. However, weeds was just a distraction from the real facilitator of the lie, Charles Thompson. Who is Charles Thompson? What is his connection to the cherry tree and the great lie? It is found that Thompson was the leader in the revolutionary crisis of the early 1770s. John Adams referred to him as the Samuel Adams of Philadelphia. Thompson also served as the secretary of the Continental Congress throughout its existence. For 15 years, Thompson dedicated himself to recording the debates and the decisions of the Continental Congress. Along with John Hancock, president of the Congress, name appeared on the very first published version of the Declaration of Independence in July of 1776.
Now he's the recorder of all the records.
When Charles Thompson was asked to speak on the truth of America and the founding fathers, he said, and I quote, "No, I ought not, for I should contradict all the histories of the great events of the Revolution. Let the world admire the supposed wisdom and valor of our great men," end quote. One of Thomason's most famous quotes was recorded by a man named Dr. Benjamin Rush, where Thompson stated, and I quote, "I shall not undeceive future generations," end quote. And that's cited in Rulers of Evil by F. Tupper Saucy on page 125. Thompson, in his own words, had canceled any future debates on this matter. He openly admits the American people have been deceived. This is the great lie and the beginning of the secret of the cherry tree. After a worldwide release of the movie, we plan to release a book of all the historical facts and records which were used in the making of this film. These historical findings and information will officially place the American truth back on the record. The lies that have been projected on the Asiatic American people have been preventing us from being one of the greatest nations in the world. This movie is here to set the record straight.
He's still alive?
Yeah.
Is he still alive? Is he still alive? And who's guarding him?
So I just want to check, that's where I was at when I was in Texas.
Because he went down this way.
Huh?
You was with him?
No, I'm playing her father,
So,
Bruce's father, in that movie. But I just want to share that with you all, so that'll be coming out this year.
And he's still alive.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're under pressure. A lot of Europeans want this thing.
got
Because
it.
remember, they're going to be sacrificed.
Oh, yeah, I had
That's why we told you going to make them tell the truth. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's
has
like this.
anybody heard of
It's sort of like Europeans tell our people they believe it. We tell them they don't.
Yeah. Put on a white coat.
It's that simple. That's
Have you all heard of Richard Smith? Okay, Rick, if you think that's something, look up Richard Smith. He wrote the book, The Moor, the Mason, and the Alien. I've had him on my show twice. He's a European, and he tells it like it is. He said, I was here before, and I was a dark complected female. He said, they sent me back this time. He said, they sent me back this time as a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male. He said, because you wouldn't listen to me if I was 7 shades darker. But his book is called The Moor, the Mason, and the Alien. His name is Richard Smith. The Moor, the Mason. He's been on my show twice. If you go to